Right. So what I wanted to go over next is really getting back to the key criteria, which is that we need to be professional, but still community and grassroots oriented. We package our work in a publicly presentable way to make it easier to gain recognition. So, my biggest concern is that, option one, to get things into proposal format for tomorrow.
Mhm.
Option number one would be, to create a subset of FQN work that is more easily digestible by the public, downsize, not as, grand, big vision, which can be overwhelming and also make people feel it is unobtainable. Right? So then the other one is obviously, to go with the entire purpose and vision of FQN, without downsizing, and just try to present it in a way that is more easily understood by the public. So I mean, I don't know how that works or whatever, but we need to understand that that's possible. It could backfire, right? So option three is obviously, create a new entity or a program that presents part of what we were working on before in a new way. So I think those are the three primary options for how we want to present the umbrella. How we want to present the umbrella showcase. That sort of makes sense?
Yes, you mean you create a new identity? Identity. This is identity, right?
A new entity.
Entity. Entity. A program and presents part of what we were working on.
So obviously what Alberto was talking about is more option two here, right? Which is just kind of going with the entire thing and go bigger, go home,
Yes. Option three, what do you mean by creating? Why a new entity, a new program, right? There would be this system for creating showcase websites.
Well, no, that would be a showcase. That would be a showcase. That's a totally separate thing than what I'm talking about here. So what you missed is that I was talking about the actual umbrella showcase website and going back to our criteria, which is that it's supposed to be professional, still community and grassroots oriented, and then talking about the package of our work being in a publicly presentable way. So the main concern with option two is that it might be too grand, too big of a vision, too overwhelming, and it might not actually connect, right? Just like it hasn't connected in the past. So we want to be careful, maybe there's something in between, but I feel like in between option number one and option number two is option number one, right? So what does that make sense? Because I can go on to what you were just talking about and have a proposal for that as well.
Right. So for option three, I don't understand it. Like, what do you mean by creating a new entity?
Okay, so option number one is to use existing entity with, FQV, FQN, CommUnity, et cetera, but use a subset of FQN work, right? And then this one is to use existing entity and to go with the entire purpose and vision of FQN. Right, so either option number 1 and option number 2 are still using basically the same. Oh no, what happened? Everything I wrote disappeared.
Huh?
Everything I wrote disappeared. Was someone writing? Who? Joyce, are you writing in option number 1 block?
No.
Yeah, you were writing.
Okay, but
can you try to Control Z? Control Z, Joyce.
I'm not.
Control Z.
Control Z. I'm not
Control Z.
writing.
Control Z.
Well, you were doing something.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Now it's back.
Okay. Maybe I pressed something. I don't know. I'm not aware.
You obviously pressed something. All right. So anyway, so this one is using the existing entity, right? But to use a subset of for the umbrella website. Whereas option number 2 is to use the existing entity, but go with the entire purpose and vision, basically, go big or go home. This is kind of what you were talking about, Alberto, where you're basically like, let's just do it all and present basically the whole vision without downsizing it, right? And trying to present it. Obviously, we want to present it in as clear a way as possible to the public, since obviously it didn't work before. So option number 3 is creating a new entity or program that presents part of what we worked on before, but in a new way. It's more of a front, right? More of a front, like SVG. Like SVG is a front. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So do you have any more questions on these 3 options in terms of?
So these 3 options, I mean, I think I'm clear on that, but I just want to make it clearer. These 3 options have nothing to do on what we were saying before about this.
Correct. I can go back to that.
This potential.
I can go back to that next.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do a view topic on this, because this changes a lot.
Well, I think we can connect it into the purpose and identity first, but yeah, we can have another topic on that as well, of course, if we want to. But let me just finish creating the proposal so that it's clear. So, I mean, I guess I'm gonna go with some options here. There's definitely some options here, but one option is, again, this is for how we should move forward with the new idea of the system for showcasing FQV/FQN websites in the future, right? Or as we move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question is, how should we do this, and what is it going to look like? So one option obviously is kind of like the direction I would go, is basically in essence, what you're doing is you're stepping back from just the umbrella website launch itself, like just the umbrella showcase website, and we are including all of the website ideas and going into the brainstorm process for the agreement, the launch agreement, right? Isn't this part of the launch agreement trajectory?
Yeah.
So now the brainstorm process for website ideas in relationship to the launch agreement trajectory would become part of this new system, right? And therefore we would. I'm kind of writing this out as I'm thinking, so I'm gonna need to rewrite it. So therefore we would reconsider all websites, including the showcase website itself, to prioritize. So basically, another way to think about it: to prioritize, to step back, and prioritize all websites that we are considering to a showcase, including the showcase website itself, right? Go through the prioritization process and then be and then build a system for how we will complete each website slash list current priorities. So our current priorities are these 6 websites. So there's 6 of them, right? Or there's 7. Is there 7 now? 7. There's now 7. So no, there's 6. So I don't know what we want to call it, but we could call it like the the showcase pipeline experience. You know, the SPE. I don't know what we want to call it, but anyways, that's an example of the SPE, right? It's building the experience of co-creation, right? I like that's a slogan. So we have 6 priorities for essentially showcase website, right?
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah, I'm following you.
So then you basically vote, and you have 3 of us and everybody else, and obviously we all voted. Okay, SVG was the #1 top priority, right? But now maybe instead of the umbrella showcase website, maybe the next top priority is the showcase pipeline experience, because the showcase pipeline experience actually is what co-creates the umbrella showcase website, and so that comes first before we do the umbrella showcase website itself and before we do the SV more all these other things. So we finish SVG, then we go into the showcase pipeline. So basically the showcase pipeline experience, whatever we decide to call it, would be part of this process of prioritizing all the potential projects that are in the pipeline. Because all these are in the pipeline still, SVG is the closest to being done. And then the pipeline basically, the question is, what is the cut off for the pipeline to do the showcase launch, right? That's the question. So we're going to have a pipeline of more than we want to necessarily complete for launch, but that was always the brainstorm process. We're going to brainstorm all the ideas of what to include in the showcase website, and then there's going to be a cutoff that we want to complete so that we can actually launch. And ideally, it's in 2 to 3 months. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think all right, all of this it's kind of secondary to what comes first, as I see it, right? So here, what we wanna decide. I mean, here to take your your sentence here. Here to stepping back from just the umbrella showcase website, and we are including all of the website ideas and going into the brainstorming process for the launch agreement. I'm just rereading this project. We can profit this new system, and therefore we could reconsider all websites, including the showcase website itself, to prioritize. All right. So, I mean, this is not too clear, but what is clear, it's to stepping back from just to step back and prioritize all websites that we're considering to showcase, including the showcase website itself. Go through the prioritization process, and then build a system for how we will complete each website program. So I think that this is what we should consider now, right? Because if we have agreement on doing this, it would mean stop everything that we're doing, and before we get back in doing what we're doing now, we need to have a clear documentation of what we did, a clear system and clear processes on how we're going to move forward for each website. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So option 1 is really taking a step back and slowing down. Option 2 would be just to continue as is with the current showcase website plan, right?
Because okay,
Right. So
on one
for me,
side, yeah, I think that on one side, obviously, it would potentially delay even further the launch, but not necessarily, because if we step back
actually might speed
and,
up the
and
launch.
yeah, exactly, because if we step back and create a very clear system with processes and responsibilities on how to build each one of these websites that we're going to showcase, then
Yeah.
we would move.
SVG took 6 months. SVG took us 6 months at least, maybe longer. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like let's say 3 to 5 more to do, depending on how many we agree to that need to be done before the launch. So I
Yeah,
think
but
it's definitely possible that if we slow down and build this pipeline experience, that it actually might happen faster than if we just try to trudge through it all.
yeah, but for example, for the sponsorship website, for the COP methodology, we already have the website. We just need to update them.
Nothing exists for the co-op methodology. That does not exist at all. The sponsorship does exist, which is why I said 3 to 5, as opposed to 6. Or yeah,
Okay.
6 and 5. We haven't finished SVG either yet. We're close.
So I think that before going into the list of the current priorities and voting on the list of the current priorities, I mean, what we should focus on is have agreement on this, because this would change a lot on our workflow, what we're going to be focusing on
Yeah, but that's why it's a
starting
proposal.
from now.
It would be a proposal. So option number 1 and option number 2. Do we want to step back and slow down and focus on this new model, which would be this like showcase pipeline experience, or do we want to just continue? I don't think either one of these options, right? Like to put in the details, right? Neither option affects the prime trajectory. The prime trajectory is the same either way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We're
absolutely.
just like, to achieve the prime trajectory. Then, if we decide to prioritize this showcase pipeline experience as a showcase program, right? That would be our priority above the umbrella showcase website to get everything started. And then once we're ready to prioritize the umbrella showcase website, we will, and then we'll build all that. I mean, we could easily build all of the websites first before the umbrella showcase website, and we could actually choose to build the umbrella showcase website itself very, very last. And in option number 2, we would never have done that. But in option number 1, it actually might make more sense to build all of the other websites first, and then the last one is the umbrella showcase website. Because you're just going through the process. But either way, I don't know if we would do that. The point is that we would, based on the showcase pipeline experience, the system and the processes that we're going through will automatically take us through this trajectory so that we're doing the correct website, ideally one at a time. We just focus on one website at a time, which will go faster than trying to potentially do all 5 or 6 at the same time,
As we're doing now.
as we are doing now. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm personally, I'm 100% on board on this.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So if we want to vote on it now, we can, but we can just present it. I think it's a pretty significant change of plan, and that we would be better just to present it tomorrow and have everyone vote on it. Yeah.
So basically, voting on that would be voting to prioritize the showcase pipeline experience.
No.
No,
That's what's so interesting
it's
about this.
different.
This is where it gets kind of confusing, right? Is that it does 2 things. One, because this is where it's a little confusing, is that it's a double loop, right? Because the showcase pipeline experience is a loop of any type of model that we're creating, including the showcase umbrella website, right?
Yeah,
So anything that we're building and co-creating together would go through this new pipeline experience, right? Of building it out. So it's a kind of confusing to talk about. But the bottom line is that once you go through the experience, the process of prioritization determines the priority. So you saying,
Yeah,
oh, the priority is going to be this is not true. The priority would be to prioritize the experience of the process itself, document the process as best as we possibly can, and then go through the process. And the process will tell us what the priority is. The priority could be the Umbrella Showcase website. The priority could be SVG. I think SVG happens first before we move on, right? And then, or it might be the Showcase pipeline experience. That might be the priority. Or maybe we'll all be like, you know what? The number one priority is to get ourselves in order first. We need to get our co-op together and functional first before even branching out to any of these other projects and programs, right? So we would look at all of these actual priorities and really think about in the experience of this pipeline, it's a much more in-depth experience to understand and prioritize and look at the pros and cons of each one of these options and what we want to focus on first. Because whatever we focus on first will determine a lot of things into the future, including the entire process that we go through and how we set it up.
yeah. So I don't understand why are we voting on the priorities and not voting on on the option one?
Shots.
Because
Exactly.
as
Just an example. This is just an example of what would happen if we vote on option one instead of option two.
yeah,
Okay, so option
okay,
two is continue to work on all websites simultaneously as sub trajectories and move forward with the umbrella, right? Together, right? So it's just a different process because option number one, the primary process is the prioritization process itself of the pipeline. The pipeline becomes the priority because the pipeline itself is the process that we would be going through. Whether we prioritize the pipeline experience is irrelevant. We would be going through the pipeline experience and we would be documenting it as we go through it, and then we could prioritize whatever we wanted to. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
exactly. Yeah, I was confusing. Yeah, this is just an example on how
It is
the
confusing.
yeah so we wanna vote on option one.
There's a triple loop. There's a triple loop going on here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Let me try to describe the triple loop on line 210, right? So there's a triple loop in option one. So the triple loop is you have the Umbrella Showcase website, right? The Umbrella Showcase website trajectory brings us to the Showcase pipeline sub-trajectory that then prioritizes a sub-program, which can be either the Umbrella Showcase website or the Showcase pipeline, depending on what we prioritize. So it's a triple loop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, but the key thing here is what we are, if we choose option one, what we are prioritizing is the process of prioritization, period.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
whatever the voting
documenting and,
comes
and
out with,
creating.
we would agree to whatever our priority is going to be, and that could be any one of these things. And obviously, we can work on more than one website at a time, but the point is that we would have a very, very specific list of priorities in the pipeline, right? So the end result of this, let's go into the end result. I'm going to go up here to line 186. The end result would be to have a very specific list of uh, programs in our pipeline to eventually showcase. And that this will include both programs we agree for completing before launch and after launch. And examples of other programs in the pipeline that are probably not going to be part of the launch would be the planetary sessions. Right? We have parallel governance. We have so many other things, right? Lots and lots of other things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I would vote on this. Option
Awesome. All
one.
right. So, but does it help? Does this help from the triple loop in option 1, 212? Does that help getting clarity?
Yeah, I understood. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that to the option up here so that it's actually under option 1. And then I think we're done with this. So the triple loop in option 1 is as follows. Boom, boom. All right, cool. I added the triple loop.
So we want to bring it up at the main session.
Yeah, this will get voted on at the main session. Because I think, so everybody gets a chance to understand what it means. Because it does significantly change our trajectory. And we're not saying that we're definitely going to do the Showcase pipeline experience as its own showcased website. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying that we're developing the Showcase pipeline experience because it's something we've gone through before and that we know we're going to go through again. And so we want to basically take the time, step back, document the entire process we went through with SVG, and then begin to document this process for the Umbrella Showcase website, document it for the co-op, and as you move forward with the core lines, like basically we're going to create an entire system around building these showcase websites.
Yeah, and it's in line on how we do everything.
Yes, it's very in alignment in how we do everything, and then also it's very umbrella. It relates to all the different aspects of the entire network. For example, everything related to the multimedia could go into the umbrella. Oh, and that's another thing we could put here, the Umbrella Media Company, UMC, right? So all the multimedia goes under the Umbrella Media Company. But what's interesting about what we're doing here is it's more than just multimedia. We are talking about the actual co-creation of the entity itself and the program itself. And that's what's exciting about it, is because it involves all the value and all the systems and all the policies and everything that make the program functional. So it's very exciting. And there's lots of other future possible priorities in the pipeline that we can think about.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, big improvements. Let's see.
You want to have a break?
I don't know.
I mean, I think we're pretty much done, right? I mean, what else do we need to do? Is there any other proposals that we need to present tomorrow? Don't we have all the proposals ready? Or?
Yeah, we have. This is yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, at this point, we need to get these agreements from, from the main session to move forward, because this could change all our schedule, all our workflow, and everything.
Well, it doesn't change that much, actually. It only changes the sub-trajectories within the prime trajectory.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't change all of them. It only changes like a few of them, right? So it's not like, I think what this does is that we're going to end up having a list of specific showcased websites with a cutoff line for what will be included before and after the launch. And then we'll also have another cutoff line for what we want to actively be working on now. Like I would say, ideally, we work on one single website at a time.
I agree.
We go through the entire process, document the entire process, because by doing that, we will be able to streamline the entire process to be so much more efficient and effective by the time we start the second website, as opposed to just floundering through 5 websites simultaneously. Instead, we flounder through one website, perfect the system and the processes. The second website will go 10 times faster.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. Yeah. And then the third and the fourth.
The fourth, yeah, exactly.
And then we
we start churning them out, and it'll be even easier by the time we get to the 10th and the 20th and the 50th. 5 years or 10 years from now. And then this also creates a simple process of how to remove something from the Showcase website. So if we add a program and we decide one day we don't want to have it in the Showcase website anymore, very easily creates a process for how we can remove something.
Yeah, perfect.
Coolio. So I think this looks really good. I'm excited about it. And in some ways, what's interesting about this is like, know how the co-op is the administrative branch of the entire network?
Yeah.
The Showcase pipeline experience is in essence the administrative network or the administrative program of the Umbrella Showcase website.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so I think
The system would be
I think we are.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yeah. So one thing, if we go into the wrap up for the scheduling, just writing this now. What you said, administrative.
Oh, one other thing I want to say about these options of how we want to present the Umbrella Showcase website to the public. We do not need to decide on this tomorrow at all.
No.
Right? Like these are really good options to present tomorrow, to talk about. We could even start prioritizing them and see which direction we want to go as a group, but we don't actually have to finalize this at this time. This is just getting an idea of some of our options.
No, I agree. Tomorrow we need to finalize this agreement, the schedule, and the umbrella trajectories.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Very
cool. So, to wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give an 8 to this session.
So let's schedule.
Tomorrow is a main session as we FQV main session.
Say again, what?
Tomorrow FQV main session.
Yes, if we want to, we can call it FQV. I mean, we haven't really finalized on the actual name yet, but we'll get there. So for me, I'm just calling it the main session, but yeah. Or we can call it our Umbrella website main session. We have agreement on that. But FQV is fine too. Or even just FQN. Okay. Or the co-op, right? We call it our collaborative co-op main session.
Okay.
Or what is it? Our not collaborative. It's called the what were we calling it? It was the contributors co-op main session. Yeah. Or co-op main. Anyways, the point is that the main session is the main session. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So with the scheduling, we have tomorrow main session. But what about today?
Yeah, today, Jay. So yesterday, maybe I misunderstood, but we said, I mean, the support alliance session was not happening because we didn't do any coordination, nothing was going on. So I would like to meet maybe Cobalt H2 in 45 minutes, or if you need more time later, to work on value, mainly budget, but also finalizing the base token payroll, the reimbursements.
So what was that again?
If you're available.
You said reimbursements?
I mean, value session, the main focus would be the budget, but we could have topics on finalizing the base token running.
It's just like a budget review. What is the budget?
No, the budget, we just need to do verification on the setup, and which is going to be very quick, 5 minutes. And then we should...
Why for the setup?
Huh?
Why do you need me to verify for the setup? What does that mean?
Because Mamoon given the setup for the budget to verify, but I couldn't verify because I had to do additional work. So if we can just verify the timeline and the setup, the list of people, it's missing the list of people. I mean, the deadlines are okay, and the timeline.
Okay, but you don't technically need me for that, right?
No, no, but I mean, me and Mamoon, we've been working on. I can ask Joy eventually. But since we're gonna meet, we could do it a quick
I
topic.
mean, for me, the priority is the schedule of the team trajectories, because the question is, where is the budget supposed to be, the budget setup supposed to be reviewed and verified? That would be the question, right? Where and when is the budget setup review supposed to happen? Right, that's my concern. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The setup of the budget is basically the management status, right? It's basically goes into then the management status for the budget.
The management status for the budget. So, well, we have all the management status updates. Management
No, we do.
status
Yeah.
updates. So that would be something that should get worked on. But again, that's not my responsibility. So the question is, where is the management status updates getting worked on and for that happening?
Yeah, I mean the review. We did the review. We need the verification because I did the work. Mamoon did the work, so we cannot verify our
For
work
what?
for the setup, for the budget setup.
But I mean, what my concern is it sounds like an excuse not to move on and do the work. Or the budget. I've never reviewed the budget setup ever in 5 years, or however long we've been doing budgets in FQN with the team.
Yeah, we should start to do that. I mean, verification should always happen.
What have I asked? Literally, like almost 3 to 4 months. What have I been asking to review?
The pops.
The pops. So it's just like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. Like, I've been pushing this for so long, and you guys totally ignore it. And instead, you want me to review something that I've never even reviewed before, and I don't even really necessarily need to review it or want to review it, and you're not even trying to review what I actually want and asking you guys to do.
No,
So
I wanted to work on the budget, and one of the main topics that I put in the timeline was for us to work together on the pop verification. So this is something that I would like today, if possible, at the value session.
So you want to go through pop verification? So you guys did the pop verification already? You guys did the pop review already?
Yeah, the pop verification from the last budget is updated. We haven't done it for.
You're working on the new budget.
Yeah. We didn't get to that yet.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't understand how we would do the pop verification if it hasn't even been worked on.
All right. No, I get it. Yeah. No, I was thinking we could do it together. So.
But that's exactly the opposite of the whole point of what I'm trying to get happening, which is that you do the work and then you stop where it requires verification and you make sure that you're checking in and doing the verification. That's the whole point, and that we're not able to do that for some reason.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
So I don't know of anything that says that you're not allowed to work on the budget until you've been approved to work on the budget. Like, I don't know that.
I never said that. I never said that. No, I never said that. I never said that or not. I mean,
it's like multiple days have been going by where no one's working on the budget, and instead everyone's saying that somebody else has to do something before the budget can be worked on.
No, we worked yesterday on the setup.
Okay.
Yeah. So the setup is done, is reviewed. We got confirmation from the workers for the assigned work, the post.
Okay, so I thought you said that somebody else worked on it and that you didn't work on it, and that it was
Mamoon started, but the work he presented to me was incomplete. So I worked on further on it. Right? So I couldn't verify the work that I completed. Just verified what was completed by him. Right. So.
I mean, that sounds a little bit weird. That like if I go and I verify something and I fix a bunch of stuff, there could be an endless process of never being able to finish, because every single person who verifies something and finds something to change then needs to be verified by another person, and then it's just an endless chain of verification, because every single person who did verification did some work, and then so their work has to be verified.
Well, I mean, the policy is that if you do the work, you cannot verify your own work.
But I thought you said that um, Mamoon did the work, and then you went to verify it, and you saw that there was mistakes, and so you made sure those mistakes got fixed. And so, isn't that the whole point of verification? Is to make sure that whoever is working on the work, if mistakes were made, that those are caught.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
So I
that
mean, it
happened.
feels like that is the verification process, like, or at least the double and triple, quadruple checking,
Yeah, that's happened for
right?
sure. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, the things that I reviewed that I completed, it's okay for me to consider them verified.
I mean, I don't know what the process says or what the policy is on the setup, but like I again, I've never done a verification on a setup or a stopping of a setup process, because in my understanding of any setup is that it's endless. You can always get more organized and get more set up and get more of everything ready so that the process, when you're going through it, is more efficient and effective and streamlined. Like the setup never ends.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm just not really understanding, like it's like I tell you guys to take the responsibility seriously and to get focused and do the verification where and when it says to do the verification. And instead, it seems like you're coming back and you're saying, like, okay, we're going to add 10 times more verification processes and not do the work in order to just wait around for verification. And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, let's just do what the process says and then go through it. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Like what I do know is that the process specifically for the recruitment setup involves me, right? Like the
Hmm.
recruitment setup clearly states this needs to be verified and everything needs to be double and triple checked, quadruple checked, and verified
Hmm.
before moving on to implement the rest of the recruitment process, because the setup is so important. And the setup of the recruitment process has a checklist. It's like, here's a checklist of the minimum things that must be included in the setup, because it includes, for example, the the recruitment sheet, right? Or the recruitment doc for that round. The recruitment round sheet or the recruitment round doc needs to be created and set up for that round. And it so many times that step is skipped. And people just
Hmm.
start doing the posting and going into the recruitment, and they didn't even put the recruitment round doc together, let alone all the other things. And so then the whole recruitment round falls apart and it doesn't function because the setup wasn't done correctly, right? But it's a slightly different setup than the budget. The budget is like you just copy everything exactly the same from the previous month, and there's nothing different really. It's like, so it should be really simple.
Yeah, it's nothing to. Yeah, I get it. Okay, thank you, Jay. Yeah, okay, so I already reviewed it.
So for
Everything.
me,
Yeah.
the executive, for me, the question is, what's the issue, right? So if you have an issue, bring up the issue, right? You've said
No,
10 times now, oh, I just need to get
the
the
issue is that you need to get verification on specific outputs of your setup, which are four, right? Which is that the spreadsheet is the new spreadsheet is created, has all the right tabs and the right titles. The deadlines are correct. The third is that what was the third? The fourth is the timeline and the assigned work that all needs to be confirmed and to have agreement from the workers. And the third one was I have it here, right? And the third is the list of people. The list of people.
okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't remember being involved in any of that or creating any of that, right? Like my involvement in the budget process would most likely be in relationship to the
Options.
responsibility organizing, reviewing it all, simplifying it, cutting out everything that's redundant, unnecessary, getting it more streamlined, more focused, so that it's simpler and that everything can move forward. What I don't like about the process that you presented is the idea that there needs to be agreement from all the workers for the entire timeline for like the whole budget before you can even start working on it. I mean, again, this goes into this idea that you can't do work without permission, which is against policy, right? So for me, it's like if I was working on the budget, I would sit down. The setup shouldn't take longer than like, I don't know, a half an hour, right? And then either during the next half of the session or the next day, I could schedule work on the budget or the next week or something like that. Work on it for like an hour or two, and then it would be done, right? And then from there, you would need to create the voting form and or start communicating with the team. So I mean, there's just not a lot that needs to get done for the budget. It's the same budget every month. I mean, the differences are minute.
All right. Yeah. Got it.
So again, that would be where I would want to get involved in the setup, which would be improving it all. Cutting it down, simplifying it. What are the minimum number of tabs that are required, right? For me, that's the question. What is the minimum criteria required to meet the budget process, right? Yes, you can have 10 tabs, you have 20 tabs, you can have 50 tabs, but is that actually required to meet the minimum criteria? The minimum criteria is all that matters when it comes to moving forward the process, right? And so if there's not clarity on what the minimum criteria is, right, and you're creating these responsibility organizings with many extra steps, that's fine. But it's good to make it clear that this is the actual list of criteria that's required, which is very different than the responsibility organizing, which has 10 additional steps that actually aren't required, but it helps. You see the difference?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm gonna update the responsibility organizing by saying that the setup needs to be reviewed and verified by the management of the budget.
Yeah, it's a management process. That is exactly what it is, a management process.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
so the only reason I want to review the POPs verification is because it's an issue.
Yeah.
Right? It's been an ongoing issue where the POPs have had problems, that I have seen problems in POPs that are not being addressed, and that was concerning me. And so I want to see the verification process or the verification step or whatever and review it to make sure that it meets the criteria, the minimum criteria, nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
That's all I want about is the minimum criteria relationship to the POP verification.
All right, Jay. Okay, got it. So for the session later, are you available to schedule? So do we wanna? So as the focus, you wanna have the schedule for team trajectories. But what about the base token payroll finalization and also the reimbursements?
Cool.
Can we do like some topics on that as well?
Yeah, so let's just say, I would just say like, other project or like normal work, right? Are we calling this normal work? I don't know what we're calling it. So this normal work,
it's normal work session.
project
Teamwork.
value and say coordination slash planning slash schedule and value slash reimbursement slash payroll. So basically we're saying there's two focuses: coordination, planning, scheduling, and then value, reimbursement, payroll. Right? If we can do both of those, and technically speaking, value, reimbursement, payroll, budget. Right? Budget is part of the value
Distribution.
Yeah.
Okay? So we can
Cool.
just say that we're going to work on both of those. So you have two focuses. I think it should be fine. But I would prefer to start with the schedule because we can clean up and organize the voting for tomorrow and make sure it's very clear. But also we can make sure we have answers to where and when the budget is getting reviewed, to where and when the status updates are getting reviewed. Make sure it's clear when and how and where all this is happening.
Okay.
And if it's not clear, then we need to continue to address the schedule. Like if the schedule is not going to meet the needs of the work for the normal work, then we need to reconsider the schedule.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So Cobalt H2, it's in 27 minutes.
No, that's not going to work either. So, first off, I just want to say, in concluding on the budget review, is like, I just want the budget to be worked on and to move it forward. And then from there, I'm much more interested in the nonprofit budget, moving all that forward on top of it, right? So, anything that's holding up the work of the budget is concerning. So my highest recommendation is move forward, get the budget work done, get the budget done as soon as possible. In terms of the time frame, I think we should push back a half an hour and have it start a half an hour late, so it would be 1 hour from now.
Cobalt H 2.5. All right, perfect.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, very cool.
Joyce, did you have anything you want to add or say, or anything else before you go?
Nothing, Jay.
You're good? Okay.
The session was okay. Thank
Talk
you.
to you guys later.
All right, talk to you later. Bye bye.
Alberto.
Oi.
Okay, everything fine, no?